Okay, so it's never too early to start previewing the next season when we're waiting for stuff to happen in this offseason. Let's talk about the Thunder, who I think could be ready to take a big jump next season. Last year they won 40 games, and that was with Chet missing the whole season. And I do want to start with the defense. We'll get to SGA and Giddey and J-Dub and the whole thing, but I want to start with the defense because last year, once Chet went down, they had to take on a more aggressive defense, bring in help from the corners more than your average team might. I felt like they would double team more than the average team as well. And I think the stats that show this the most are they were like fourth in the league in steals per game. They were number one in forced opponent turnovers last year, but they gave up among the most corner threes in the league and opponent three-pointers overall. And I mean, it makes sense. You got to bring extra help. Somebody's going to be open. That's just the trade-off you make. And they were also towards the bottom of the league in a defensive rebound percentage, opponent offensive rebounds, however you want to look at it. And even with all that, their defense was still good. I mean, they finished 14th in defensive rating. I mean, look, they did a really good job with it without Chet. Of course, it helps when Lou Dort's a good on-ball defender, J-Dub walked in as a good help defender. Kenrich Williams is as solid as you could ask for as a rotation player from pretty much all areas of the floor. And also, you credit Mark Daigneault for coaching up a defense. So yeah, but with Chet coming back now, you would hope that, given the rim protection we've already seen from Chet in the Summer League, last Summer League and all that, that they could play a little bit of a safer defense. Now, it's something that depends on, who he's going to be guarding between fives and fours, and I mean, they'll mess with that throughout the season, I'm sure. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him in, just more drop defense with guys being able to stay home on their dudes a little bit more. They're still going to bring help, obviously, and, when Chet's not in the game, they might bring back that sort of chaotic defense. And, I mean, I'm sure they'll tinker with it even when Chet is in the game and try to find the perfect balance there. I mean, if you're going to have Chet manning the middle, you're going to have J-Dub as a help guy, Lou Dort as an on-ball defender, Cason Wallace as well as an on-ball defender, although Cason will be off the bench. They've had Jalen Williams, not J-Dub, at times in the Summer League guarding the 5 and Chet on the 4. Now let's go to the other side of this. So, I mean, we can start with Chet on offense, right? So when Mike Muscala was in the game for them, which was like 15 minutes a game before they traded him to the Celtics, the offensive rating with him and SGA out there was insane. I remember that. And it was mostly because it allowed him to go 5 out, and then it's just SGA, Muscala screen plays, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. The paint's wide open, and SGA is unstoppable anyway. With his master footwork and like strides into the paint, but then he stops on a dime and gets to a pull-up jumper, or his pump fakes that lead to fouls, or the way his size-up moves freeze defenders before he makes his drive. Like, SGA is amazing. We all know this. And so you put Chet into that now, and, I mean, look, credit to Mike Muscala. Like, he could shoot. You had to care about him. Chet can do a few more things than Mike Muscala can, of course. He can screen for SGA or Giddey or J-Dub, and then from there, it's just, if he's open, he can take the 3. He can attack off the catch. He can roll to the rim. And, I mean, we'll see where Chet's screen setting gets to. And sure, I mean, certain teams, if they have enough, like, versatile defenders, they can maneuver the matchups to where they could probably switch that sort of thing more often. Even then, like, it's SGA and a screen we're talking about. It's not exactly easy to guard. And that's just in the half court. I mean, if we're talking, like, the full court, you could have Chet on one end, contest a shot at the rim, get the rebound, and then bring it up himself. And then he could swing it to SGA, who drives, draws a foul, that type of stuff. Hopefully I'm not overrating Chet's instant impact, but just when you see the rim protection and his skills with the ball and the shot and all that, like, I just feel like he's going to do a lot. Yes, he's still going to have to put on some more weight, even if he has put on some already. And of course, when they would have all that spacing, Mark Daigneault, very good coach, they would get a lot of cutting on. I mean, J-Dub was like a master cutter for a rookie. Of course, it helps when you got Giddey at the top of the key. You can make any pass possible, bounce passes, the whole thing. We can get to Giddey now. The biggest thing with Giddey, look, he made strides with the 3-ball last season. Love that. My biggest thing is, as the 3-ball grows into whatever it ends up being, I want to see if he can maximize his physical drive stuff, because there were more moments of that last season. I know his free throw numbers didn't make a big jump. They made a little one from his rookie season, but I don't know, man. My eye test just felt like there was more there with Giddey's drives. With the thing I think I saw the most being like, he attacks off the catch or whatever, or even if it's like him having the ball and setting somebody up and then he just drives anyway. And then he just like gets his shoulder into the defender, backs him down a little bit, and then gets to like these push shots in the paint or whatever, something like that. To get back to J-Dub for a second. So in his last 15 games for them last season, he was averaging about 12 to 13 shots per game. I do wonder if that ramps up a little bit more for this upcoming season. Some of that being just from day one, he's getting more of those pick and roll opportunities, getting more of those like corner actions, handoff actions for him and all that. But also, like, I mean, you can just see with the way this dude works off the dribble, the way that he can get defenders, like, off balance for a second and then just drive, and then he's huge, so you can't really get around him at that point. I think he can definitely handle more opportunities on the ball. His 3-ball's been pretty decent so far, too. And then as for the role players, I mean, look, I've already mentioned Kenrich Williams. A dude can switch across a few positions. He is a good enough ball handler to where if he's open for a drive or whatever, he can make something happen. He's good enough to make an open 3. He sets screens on offense. They also got EuroLeague guard Vasilija Micic, who is at his best just working pick and roll pretty much. He can make reads, he's good at rejecting screens, he also has the guts to shoot it if you go under a screen on him. So we'll see what they allow him to do right away. Poku, I mean, what you're dreaming about with him is that he's this tall dude who can make threes, be a help defender along with Chet, and also do a little bit off the dribble, but it just hasn't hit all the way. I mean, I do think he's made strides, but then he went down last season with an injury. He actually had an injury like a month ago, for whatever that means. Trey Mann, he had a pretty encouraging summer league with like tough shot making. We'll see. Isaiah Joe is already an awesome shooter for him. Lou Dort, super steady on-ball defender, even if the other side of the floor with the efficiency and all that, like, yeah, it doesn't come as easy for him. And now they can add Cason Wallace. And, you know, if you've got lineups of Cason Wallace and Lou Dort, and then you got Chet on the back line, like, I don't think Cason Wallace is going to start, to be fair, but you can put a lot of just scary defensive players on the court. So, yeah, I mean, look, they won 40 games last year, and I think they're going to be better this season. Now, the West will be really competitive, so we'll see there. Of course, they've also got 9 million draft picks over the next however many seasons, so, yeah, it's going well for them.